Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to go on this really incredible journey. We're going to follow a single ray of light all the way from the sun, through our atmosphere, and right into the most amazing optical instrument out there, the human eye. We're going to figure out the secrets of sight itself, explore the physics of color, and, well, we'll also see why sometimes this amazing biological machine needs a little bit of help. Okay, let's dive right in.
It really all kicks off with this beautiful puzzle, something we've all seen, a rainbow. How does plain old white sunlight create that stunning arc of color? It's a fantastic question. And you know what? The key to figuring that out, it's not just up there in the sky. It's right here, behind our own eyes. To understand how we see all these colors, we first have to understand the instrument that's doing all the work.
Okay, let's think about the eye for a second. It's basically nature's original camera, right? A living, self-focusing marvel that turns light into, well, everything we see. We're going to follow that one little ray of light on the very last part of its trip, step by step, as it makes its way inside.
Now here it is. Look at that. It's just a marvel of biological engineering. This diagram here, it's like our roadmap. It shows all the key parts we need to know about. It might look a little complicated, but we'll go through it together, starting right at the front door.
All right, so the first thing our little ray of light hits is the cornea. This is the eye's clear front window, and its job is absolutely critical. This is the main, fixed lens, and it does most of the heavy lifting, like maybe 80% of the work of bending or refracting that light to start getting it focused.
Okay, so after the cornea, that light passes through the pupil. Yep, that little black dot in the middle of your eye. Now, the size of that opening is controlled by the iris, which is the colored part. It works pretty much exactly like the aperture on a camera. If it's super bright out, the iris makes the pupil tiny to let less light in. And when it's dark, it opens it wide up to catch every little bit of light it can.
Next up on the tour is the lens. So if the cornea did the big initial focus, this amazing kind of jelly-like thing, this is what does all the fine-tuning. It's super flexible, and it changes its shape to adjust the focus perfectly, whether you're looking at your phone right in front of you or a mountain way off in the distance. This ability is just one of the eye's most incredible tricks.
And at last, a ray of light finishes its trip. It hits the retina. Think of this as the sensor in your digital camera. It's this delicate screen packed with millions of light-sensitive cells. When our light ray hits one of these cells, they zap out these little electrical signals that shoot down the optic nerve straight to the brain. And it's the brain that puts it all together into the images we see.
So we just talked about how the lens is the fine tuner, right? Well, that ability to shift focus from something right in front of your face to something miles away, it's one of the most critical things about our vision, and it actually has a name.
Yeah, it's called the power of accommodation, and it's all thanks to these tiny little things called ciliary muscles that are attached to the lens. When you look at something up close, the muscles squeeze and make the lens thicker and more powerful. When you look far away, they relax and the lens gets flatter, and it all happens automatically, without you even noticing. It's pretty incredible.
But, even this amazing power has its limits. For a young, healthy eye, the closest you can really focus without any strain is about 25 centimeters. We call that the near point. And the farthest? Well, for a healthy eye, that's basically infinity. You can see the stars, can't you? But what happens when this system doesn't work perfectly?
Of course, this whole delicate setup, it's not always perfect. Sometimes, maybe because of the exact shape of the eyeball or a problem with the lens, the eye just can't focus light exactly on the retina. And that's the real cause of the most common vision problems that, let's be honest, millions of us have.
So the two big ones are myopia and hypermetropia. You probably just call them nearsightedness and farsightedness. If you're nearsighted, stuff up close is sharp, but things far away get all blurry. And if you're farsighted, it's just the opposite. So what's actually going on inside the eye to make that happen?
So with myopia, or nearsightedness, what's really going on is that the eye is focusing light too much or too strongly. This makes the image of something far away form in front of the retina. So by the time the light actually gets to the retina, it's blurry. This can happen for a couple of reasons. Either the lens is a bit too curved, or the eyeball itself is a little too long.
But the fix is actually really clever and pretty simple. You use a concave lens in a pair of glasses. What it does is spread out the light rays just a little bit before they even get into your eye. This cancels out the eye's over-focusing and pushes that focus point right back onto the retina where it's supposed to be.
All right, so what about hypermetropia, or farsightedness? Well, as you can probably guess, it's the exact opposite problem.
Here, the eye's focusing power is too weak, so when you look at something up close, the light rays just don't get bent enough and the focus point ends up behind the retina. And this happens if the lens is too flat or if the eyeball is a little on the short side.
And the solution? You got it. It's the opposite kind of lens, a convex lens, which is thicker in the middle. It gives the light an extra little focusing push before it even enters the eye, which helps the eye's own lens bring that focus point forward, right onto the retina.
Okay, so we've pretty much got the hang of how the eye works now, right? From the cornea to the retina and all the fixes in between. So now we can finally go back to where we started, that rainbow. We know how the eye gets the light, but how does plain white light get split into all those colors to begin with? The magic word here is dispersion. You see, Sir Isaac Newton was the one who first figured out that sunlight isn't really white. It's actually a mix of all the colors you see in a rainbow. And when that light passes through something like a glass prism, the different colors all bend at slightly different angles. This splits them all apart so we can see them: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red.
So when you see a rainbow, what you're really seeing are millions and millions of tiny water droplets hanging in the air, each one acting like a teeny tiny prism. First, sunlight goes into a droplet and gets bent, which starts to disperse the colors. Then, that light bounces off the inside back of the droplet, and finally, as it comes back out, it bends and disperses even more. That whole process is what creates that perfect, brilliant arc of color that we see.
Okay, so tiny water prisms explain rainbows. Got it. But what about something we see almost every single day? Why is the sky blue? The answer to this one involves a totally different way that light interacts with our atmosphere.
This all comes down to something called light scattering. Think of it like this. The tiny particles in our air are really good at bumping into and scattering the short, choppy blue light waves all over the place. But the longer, lazier red light waves, they mostly just pass right on through. Since that blue light is getting scattered in every direction, it fills the whole sky, and it reaches our eyes from everywhere, making the sky look blue.
Wow. So we followed a ray of light all the way from the sun, through our atmosphere, and deep into the crazy complex mechanics of the human eye. When you think about this whole incredible system, all this physics and biology working together perfectly, every single second we're awake, it kind of leads you to a bigger question, doesn't it? What's the real value of this gift?
And there's this really powerful quote from our source material that just stops you in your tracks. If we've got the gift of vision, why not pass it on to somebody who does not have it? I mean, wow. It's so easy for those of us who have it to take it for granted. But for someone who doesn't have it, it is everything.
And this isn't just some philosophical idea either. This is real. Right now, there are about 4.5 million people who are blind just because their cornea, that clear window we started with, is damaged. Their vision can be completely restored with a transplant from a donated eye. It's just a profound final thought, isn't it? That our own eyes could literally give someone the entire world, even after we're gone. I mean, what kind of legacy could possibly be more powerful than that?